Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching today's Midday Western U.S. Regional Forecast video brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, this was yesterday, late in the morning, and what you're looking at here is a view from our high-resolution satellite called MODIS. And I absolutely love to see views of the western United States in late August that look like this. And what I'm looking at here is a relatively smoke-free scene. We do have a couple of fires that we'll talk about here. One is part of the Blue Mountains right in through here, and a second one was right in the Sawtooth in the middle part of Idaho, right in through this area. But outside of that, things look phenomenal. I mean, you can see right in through here. This is the low stratocumulus cloud deck yesterday, and then some of the thin cirrus that kind of came over parts of the Southern California Central Valley there was from the remnants of a tropical system. But overall, this is a beautiful late morning view of what I like to see in the western United States this time of year. Just to show you how healthy things are compared to normal, we're looking here at a vegetative health index, and the closer again you get to this side of the color spectrum, the better the view is from space of our crops. And this most certainly looks way better than it did a year ago across much of the western United States, and certainly way better than it did in 2017 at this time of year. So overall, vegetation health index as viewed from space looking very favorable for the western United States. Regions that are struggling a bit are going to be right down here. Certainly the lack of a stronger monsoonal season impacting what we're seeing down there in parts, especially in parts of Arizona and New Mexico. But just since we talked about smoke a few moments ago, this was this morning's model run from the HRRR showing us where we're expecting to see smoky conditions across the western part of the United States. I'm going to tell you something. The values being way down here on the color spectrum suggest that you're going to have to be quite close to some of these smoke plumes to really have the impact from them. And overall, that's a very positive picture to be painting this time of year, because I've shown this image in the past where we have seen all of our values way up here covering much of the western United States. So let's take a look at what our weather holds for us today. I just want to show you what winds are doing offshore, especially in the Pacific Northwest. We have some very strong northerly flow here, but relatively stagnant flow expected across the Pacific Northwest. And that's why when we look at our all hazards weather map, we see red flag warnings. We also see heat advisories, heat warnings out. And that's because we have today some very serious heat that's moving up the western part of the United States. And let's take a look at what we're expecting in terms of high temperatures today. So starting you off here on Tuesday, we're talking triple-digit heat. Look at how far north into California we have 100 degrees up to 109 degrees there. But triple-digit heat are up the I-5 corridor in the Columbia Basin here. We're getting deep into the 90s. Same for the for the Snake River Valley. We kind of play this forward and take a look at what we're getting here on for Wednesday. We do get summer reprieve. Let me get that drawing off there for you. There we go. We still see the 90s, the mid to upper 90s here, but the heat starts to move a bit to the east, and the Columbia Basin, much of Oregon, and the Snake River Valley again looking possibly at getting close to some triple-digit heat. But as I get you out of the day on Wednesday into Thursday, this is about the time we see our next chance at precipitation moving through this area. So you see on Thursday, temperatures back off a little bit, still much warmer than average. And then we see Friday into Saturday and Sunday. This is where we start to see, temperatures much more moderate. So we do have a very warm week on tap until we get toward the end of the week and weekend as a deeper trough starts to move in. And I'll show you that in just a few minutes. Let's slide a little bit further south and take a look at California's high temperatures. Very hot day on tap today for the Central Valley of California and into the desert here, where we're talking temperatures 105 to 115 degrees. But look in the Central Valley, a lot of 102, 103, 104s, and getting up into the Sacramento Valley. Some folks up here may be seeing approaching 110 degrees, so very hot. But like we saw, Wednesday temperatures moderate some, still very hot. This is now getting into Thursday, though. Take a look at that. Going back into the upper 90s, maybe, a couple triple-digit temperatures down there in the southern part of the San Joaquin Valley. But overall, we stay much more seasonable, still hot, but much more seasonable in terms of our temperatures after the early week heat. This is now Sunday's high temperatures getting into Monday. And we just don't see the big, baking 105, 110 degree weather that we can get this time of year, but certainly still quite warm. Now, I want to take you over to precipitation before I give you that longer range forecast. We are going to watch, now this is getting through Tuesday, Wednesday morning, watch here, Wednesday evening into Thursday. That's when our next chance at some widely scattered showers and storms really start to move into the Pacific Northwest. You see them coming on here. Look at this. This is late in the evening on Wednesday. This upper level low is approaching from our west, and it's going to be giving us a chance for some widely scattered showers and storms moving through parts of Oregon, Idaho, and then into Washington State. Okay, so that's what we're looking at as we move through the middle part of our week. Bigger picture, though, I'm going to show you the national blended model. I think this has got the best treatment so far of what we can expect to see over the next 9 days. The primary storm track is going to be coming up much farther to our north into British Columbia, which is quite typical. And you can see that this lower resolution model blend doesn't pick up on that heavier rainfall that could come from some of these thunderstorms later on this week. But overall, this is quite typical. What I do want you to notice is how far to the south the monsoonal moisture is staying. So we could be bringing some of these storms into the southern part of Arizona, but overall, this is not the full extent of the monsoon which we can typically see this time of year getting into Utah and even farther north than that. So the blended model doing a much better job here, I think, of capturing what's going on in the western United States. Meanwhile, just to let you know, we are still watching Tropical Storm Dorian. Dorian more than likely will be hitting the southeastern part of the United States, and certainly there are some crops grown in the western United States that are in competition with what we do in Florida, and we can see there the heavy rainfall that is expected in Florida in the coming days. Now take a look at this. I want to give you a little different view of the flow of the jet stream. So here we go, again, looking at troughs and ridges. And as I play this out, I want you to see here is the trough that is coming in later this week. So overall, we've been under this ridge across the western United States, hence the heat. But this is the broader trough that does slide out here and moves in over the weekend. So that was the reprieve from the heat that we were seeing. But I'll tell you, as long as we keep a well-established trough sitting here off the Aleutian Islands, this is going to help reinforce a ridge in the Gulf of Alaska that could at times extend into the western part of North America. And we certainly see that as we get into next week. So the chances of us over the next 10 days to continue to see warmer than average conditions are relatively high. I've got you all the way out to next Sunday, the 8th of September. What I do notice is that with time, now this is looking at here the 9th, do you see how our ridge, which was in the Gulf of Alaska and was over the western part of the United States, begins to retreat more toward the Aleutian Islands? If that retreat does happen, it looks as though as we get out here to like the 9th, 10th, and 11th, we could actually get some cooler weather that does come in into the western part of the United States. And just to show you what that looks like, over the next 5 days, we certainly have the above average temperatures in place. So that's been pretty well established. But looking at here days 6 through 10, this is when that upper level trough does start to sneak through. So maybe going back more toward normal temperatures here, still hot in Southern California and hot over the Four Corner states. But as I mentioned, take a look at what I've got up for the 11 to 15 day forecast. Remember, at this point, we started to see much more seasonable weather coming into the western United States as we broke down that trough, which was sitting here, and actually built a ridge back in. So that just gives us a little bit better chance at having flow that doesn't, just invite extreme heat. We're going to keep a close eye on this as we continue to progress through the end of our summer and we really build into the time of year where we're greatest threat from fires. So the high heat does bring in higher evapotranspiration, but it does at least appear that it will not be sustained for weeks and weeks on end at this particular point. All right. So I think with that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this forecast video. We at Nutrien Ag Solutions hope you have a great rest of your week. Head to my.nutrienagsolutions.com to see all of our forecast content, and we will talk to you again soon. Thank you.